Hello everyone, Jeremy here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a very special Batman action figure. There's a couple of reasons why this particular figure is so special. One, because it is based on the 1989 Batman film, and two, it is based on the 1989 video game that is based on the 1989 Batman film. This figure looks like the Batman that was in that original Nintendo game. It's a really cool thing that NECA has been doing with an assortment of figures. Some other ones include RoboCop and Jason from Friday the 13th and Rocky, and Batman is just one of the characters that got that treatment as well. So let's take a quick look at this packaging here, and when we look at it straight on, it looks just like the original Nintendo game did when it came out so long ago. Right down to this official NECA seal of quality symbol right there that kind of looks like the old Nintendo symbol did back in the day. So it's ages 14 and up, and it is currently wrapped in this plastic. I got this from Toys R Us, and Toys R Us had a price tag of about $24.99. However, price matching this on Amazon as of the recording time of this video, and I was able to get this for $20.99, which is a pretty good deal. So over on the back of the box, we just have a cool little synopsis. It says he's totally new, totally tough, and he'll stop at nothing to make sure justice prevails. From the dark streets of Gotham City to the deepest corners of the criminal underworld comes the Cape Crusader as you've never seen him before. So we just go on with just some text that is hyping up Batman. And this is the first time I have ever gotten one of these sort of 8-bit inspired NECA figures. So I'm really looking forward to this. So I'm going to rip this plastic off and we're going to take an even better look at this. Check out the cool window box packaging that this product comes in. Once I took the plastic off, it was very easy just to open this up and we can get a look at how the figure is on the right side, and on the left side there is a 8-bit screenshot with Batman and the Joker, and it says, "I know you murdered my parents, now you will dance with the devil in the pale moonlight." Nice. Very poetic Batman. Another cool thing about this is we can see Batman's, unless this was like his health meter or his power meter in the game back then. So we got his name there and the 8-bit graphics. We got this little meter here, and check out Batman. You know, he's purple and blue, and like he looks absolutely nothing like how we would see Batman these days. But if you just take a look at some gameplay footage or some screenshots from that NES game, this is how Batman looked. This is the type of color that he had, and I love the fact that NECA recreated this. So now let's take him out of the packaging and free him from his prison. Here's Batman in one of the many poses he is capable of, and the way that I have him posed up is it looks as if he's using his grappling hook to just shoot it up a building before he goes taking off, either to get closer to someone and get a better vantage point or get out of danger. And one of the things that we notice about this figure immediately is his cape, and that his cape is cloth. It's not plastic, it's not any other kind of material. You can see that it is a nice clothy cape, and that's something that we usually don't get in figures, so it's good that we do have that. And also take a look at all of the different shades of purple and blue and lavender that just is all around Batman, and it looks like he's just been plastered with neon colors, but that definitely was intentional because based on his looks and the video game from 1989, graphics back then just made Batman just sort of come out this way, and so it makes perfect sense why NECA would design him in this way. And it is definitely one of the most unique looking Batmen that has ever been released, and you probably aren't going to find one this articulated and this well designed in this color anywhere other than NECA. I love how you can use the cape to make Batman look like an even more imposing figure than he already is. How I can just take his cape and drape it over his arms, completely obscuring his arms, and all you can see is his cowl, his muscular chest, and just those eyes that strike fear into the hearts of anyone who wants to do something not too savory in Gotham City. So I just have his arms straight down. His legs are pretty much square with his arms, and I love how he's just slightly looking down like that. And this is all due to the fact that there are 25 points of articulation in this figure, and it really helps to bring out the personality of him. Another really nice detail about this Batman is the sculpt of his face. Even though you can't take off his cowl to reveal his full face, just by looking at the cut of his jaw, you can see that he is based on the Michael Keaton Batman. And they did a really good job of capturing what his face looked like underneath that cowl. So if this Batman sort of looks familiar to you and you can't quite point out why, it's because this is actually Michael Keaton's face underneath this cowl. Even with all of Batman's awesome detail and his articulation, one downside to him is that he falls down pretty easily. You really have to make sure that you have him posed in such a way that he is going to stay stood up, and that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It takes a very fine balance for Batman to maintain his balance. You may find yourself in a position where you get a particular pose that you are very happy with, and you try to place Batman in it only for him to go toppling over because there's just a little bit too much weight on one side, there's a little bit too much weight on the front, a little bit too much weight on the back, and you have to make little intricate turns of the various articulation points on Batman, such as his legs and his ankles, in order to get him to stand up just right. This is one pose that I have him in, kind of like a getting ready to fight pose, sort of like a karate type pose. And in order to do that, I did have to spread his legs apart, and then I did have to make sure that his left leg was really more of an anchor so that his right leg would be able to stand out that far, and vice versa. But when you do find something, a position to put him in and have him stay there, it can look really, really awesome. Also, one thing to note is that his cowl moves alongside his head. So if you wanted to have Batman sort of turn his head sort of like this, there's no way to do that without like the Batman symbol on his cowl moving with him. You kind of have to just turn it straight on like this if you want it to stay straight. But unfortunately, if you do turn, it just kind of goes with it, and that can kind of make it look a little bit off to you. That's just one of the things to make note, but it is a minor gripe. And now for the articulation. What can we do with this Batman? What parts of him are posable? Well, we can just start here. We got his head that can go left and right. And remember when I said the cowl moves along with his head, so you have to do that. Of course, his arms do move also up and down. He also has some movement in his elbows here for his bicep. There's articulation in his hands. You can twist his wrist. You can also sort of turn his arm up, down, and around, kind of like that. That's a pretty funny pose. And it's the same thing with his other arm. And then as for his leg, it can go straight out like this. It can go straight up. He's a little stiff, so you have to work him out. He also bends there in the knee, and also his feet also turn as well. So there's a lot of really, I mean, just check that out. There's a lot of really wacky poses that you can put Batman in. Now, he won't stay this way, of course, because like I said, he does fall over rather easily. But if you have something that you can slot him into, he does have these little holes in his feet. So if you can find a base to put him down in, that would be a lot easier. That'll be a lot easier way to help him to stand in these wacky poses. Other than that, you're just going to have him in, you know, pretty standard poses in a way that keeps him from falling over, you know, kind of like that. If you're into accessories, you'll be happy to know that Batman has those too. What we have here are a couple of different fists, so Batman, his hands do pop off, and you can swap these around. These two pieces are basically just closed fists of Batman, and then there's also that I have on him now a hand where his thumb is just kind of up in the air that will help him to hold the grappling gun, and then there's another fist with a little bit of a hole in it so that he can hold the batarang, which you see right here. So you can swap those out however you like, and these pieces are also in the same type of color that Batman is in, the sort of purpley blue lavender look, so those definitely go right along with them, but these are small pieces, so make sure that you have these someplace where you can keep up with them, because they can fall on the floor and easily just be vacuumed up. So make sure you keep his accessories in a safe place if you do intend to swap them out. As usual, NECA has done a really good job with this figure, with this Batman, and the fact that they took it back to the 8-bit retro days of a very old Batman game is a very unique thing that we really don't see a lot, if we've even ever saw this from any other company, and will ever see this from any other company again. So this Batman, he is good value. The only problems that I had with him is that he does fall over easily, so he's not the easiest to pose and get right on the first try. But I do love the cloth cape. I do love that he has interchangeable hands and a couple of different accessories. They did not have to include those, but NECA did anyway, and I really appreciate that. And this will definitely be one of the more unique figures that you can put on your shelf for display. This is definitely a thumbs up for me, and for a little over $20 you can do a whole lot worse. And once this Batman goes away, you know, if you don't have it, you might find yourself kicking yourself in the face because you had a chance to get this unique figure and you passed it up. So do yourself a favor, and if you're into Batman, you're into the old 8-bit style of games, and you just want to marry those two together, you really can't go wrong with Batman. So thank you so much for watching, everyone, and until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.